guys? DaveMainer1, 2, and 2, and today's another discussion video day because I'm not making any decks right now because of this thingy. I can't really test because it hurts to use the mouse and stuff. So I'm gonna fill my time with talking about crap that doesn't matter. Well, let's go. Now that the dust of the ban list has settled, we can start discussing what the next best decks are going to be. The only deck that got away without being hit at all was Blue Eyes White Dragon, which means it'll probably be the best deck, or at least the most played. Whether it's the strongest or not, people just like playing the deck, so it's already seeing tons of play as it is. However, from a sheer power standpoint, it seems like Cosmo and Burning Abyss might still be number one, and Blue Eyes White Dragon probably sitting on the same level as them. Burning Abyss lost all but one Seer and one Beatrice, but it did maintain all of its Dantes, and hell, they can just keep slapping in different rank 3 engines, the deck works perfectly fine. As far as Cosmos, losing all but one Dark Destroyer is kind of annoying. That means you have to be a little more careful with them, you can't just loop and loop and loop and loop. However, you still got one, you still got Dark Planet, you still got Eclipser, you know, you got tons of big untargetable guys, you can make this deck work, and we also managed to get 3 gold Sark. So the loss of our 2 E-Tellies, well, one with this ban list, is not that big of a deal. Last but not least, Monarchs got hit probably most severely with Aether and Pantheism. But with Allure at 3, there's plenty of Dark Monarchs, they might be able to make something, and, you know, frankly, Domain still locks out your extra deck. It doesn't really matter how many Aethers you have for it. But the point of this video is kind of talking about that 3 gold Sark, because that's probably the most interesting thing we got on the list. Sure, Wind-Up Magician's kind of fun, but see if anyone can do anything with wind-ups would be kind of neat, even though Konami clearly thinks you won't be able to at all. And 3 Allure means things like Dark Magician gotta draw a card so that deck can actually work a little better, because its consistency issues are just absolutely trash, as well as field control and general mechanics. So I think a lot of tier 2 decks will come out of the woodworks, and maybe even the new ones, the Spirals and Subterrors. One of those might actually be good when the next set drops. But like I said, I want to talk about Gold Sark, specifically because Gold Sark is probably one of the most interesting search cards we have in the game. It's one of the few search cards that can actually get pretty much any card out of your deck. However, banishing it for 2 turns is pretty slow and competitively unviable. However, what it does do is put a card to the banish pile where it's more readily accessible. So instead of waiting the 2 turns for the card, we might be wanting to start considering what we can use to grab the card in which we pitched out of the deck. Searching spells and traps is also completely viable with Gold Sark, but I want to focus on monsters for the most of this video. Cosmos already have Cosmo Town to get things out of their banish pile, so any monsters that you banish with Gold Sark are immediately added to your hand. Also, if you have a rank 3 engine in your deck, you have access to Levier the Sea Dragon, which might actually be the best way of getting a monster out of your banish pile, as long as it's level 4 or lower, because it summons it to the field instead of adding it to the hand, and that's a more hard advantage. And because Gold Sark is at 3, that means it's more of a viable search card than ever. It's not just a one-off you'll see every 5 duels and never resolve it. It's now at 3 with a draw engine, you'll probably see it relatively consistently. Because that means things like Burning Abyss or Cosmos with a rank 3 engine can make Levier relatively easily and then summon pretty much any monster out of their deck that they want. Or at least for Cosmos it's a pilot and then switch for a ship in the hand or whatever, you know what I mean. But here's where I want to kind of put in my own 2 cents about the thing, because I'm not really saying anything you guys don't understand or know about. Instead, I want to talk about, you know, sure, you can pitch a Burning Abyss or a Cosmo pilot and bring it back with Levier, but you could also pitch things like Tetsudo Aratnumen, Jalgan the Spiritualist, any of the Barrier statues, Kiku the Ghost Destroyer, or many other different Floodgate monsters like Mustagan, or I think Thunder King Ryo. I think you can special summon him as well. Can you? Which means you can tech these things into your deck, making really trolly plays like this. But anyway guys, that's my thought on Gold Sarcophagus, a really interesting card that's probably the most interesting thing that's gone to 3 on this ban list. It'll be interesting in the future to see what people can do with it, and you know, I'm interested to see what you guys think about it. let me down in the comments below, you know, maybe some fun combos that you guys have been thinking of, or other things that you can do with maybe not just Gold Sark, but other cards that have come off the list. Also, check out my 10K special part 1. I'm doing like a Q&A thing, so that's like a fun little video where you guys can post all your questions, and on part 2 it'll actually be more formal, kind of one-to-one with the camera answering and having little things post down the bottom, things like that. So make sure you guys check that out and, you know, post comments there and shit like that, so I actually have something to do for part 2. And as always, guys, remember, if you don't troll the meta, who will? I'll see you guys next time. But I went with Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, the rank 7 cowboy. This card is so trolly. It can't be killed by card effects, which a lot of people kind of forget because that's not how they really use it. They use it when you only have like 1,000 life points left and they just play this thing and end their turn. Why, you might ask? Because anytime you would activate any card effect, you take 500 burn damage, which means any move you make is going to suicide yourself. It's the trolliest damn end of a game you could ever do. And there's also that dumb loop you can do with Beals to like auto kill your opponent or whatever. That's just really silly.